Hi, I'm Gazan Deck and I'm currently being chased by a dinosaur! But before that, I was continuing with my quests, which was to find Bloodseeker Jochunga, so I headed into the swamps, where I once again smacked down the Zuba rat. And then I found myself walking to this camp, and it seemed that everything wanted to kill me. But with the blessing of Bwomsamdi, they were no match. And all of a sudden, I turned into a woman. And with this new disguise, I snuck my way into the camp, where I met up with my double agent, Jochunga, who's just kinda chilling here waving his arms. And then the bat lower High Reek rocked up. So Jochunga and I went somewhere a bit more private. And then we were ready to talk about what our next But anyway, I accepted my quest from him, which involved me doing some kinky shit to these tied up trolls. And then I saw this Gut Trip the Hungry, and once again with the help of Bwomsamdi, we smacked them. And it dropped me these Gut Trips Tramplers. And if you remember, a few episodes ago, I got these Gotaka's Wallopers, and apparently they're all part of the same set. And this is the first set bonus I've ever got. So I chucked them on, and now my spells and abilities have a chance to grant me strength. And honestly, I'm stoked. Carrying on, I had to go to this tower and tell the guards to leave, and they just simped for me instantly. And as I was making my way down, I saw this Venom Jaw. So I leapt off the tower to initiate the battle, and I got absolutely curb stomped. So I ran through the usual routine of running back to my cold corpse. When I arrived, I resurrected, and then thought, maybe I should try attack it again. So I went in to fight, and then my two brain cells connected together, and I realized I should probably just leave. So I finished off talking to the other simps, and then completed my quest. And all of a sudden, my simp powers were stripped from me. But no matter, I still carried on with my quest, and went round smacking down all the little rat rodent blood trolls. So I was killing the last one, taking his talisman, and making my way back to Jochunga. And then this bat rat started speaking up, and we quickly had to put our plan into action, which was to take this dagger, jump on the bat High Reek, and start stabbing. What a perfect idea. So we ran on over to the bat High Reek, and then I had to trick him by pretending to be scared. And while I was distracted, I jumped on the back of this rat and started shanking the shit out of it. The dude had no idea what was coming to him, but all I knew was that I was stabbing the shit out of this bat rat winged motherfucker. And then he kinda just dropped me down this hole. And I somehow survived, but then we had to trick the bat once again and play dead. And I swear, there's a bat dude who's so stupid, falls for every single trick in the book. So now it was time to shank this bat rat once again and put an end to all of this. But as I ran over, it seemed that he had already been shanked. So I kinda just had to awkwardly stand here for a bit until he respawned. And then the shanking commenced. And then he used this mechanic, which was actually kinda similar to the one that the dinosaur used in that dungeon. So I knew exactly what I had to do. And then we sent this bat into oblivion. And this grandmother Athena was pissed. I swear it'd been 2 minutes and this dude was still yapping on about how they're gonna kill me. But then I made my escape by jumping on this smaller bat, and made my way back to the camp, where I informed Kajabu that I had killed High Reek, and he wasn't very happy. And then I also told Princess Talanji, and she didn't seem too happy either, I think. And now the next step of the plan was to seek out the turtle Torga. So off I went in search of the turtle, smacking down the snake dude as I made my way. But as I was running along, I found this turtle who was casting some kind of spell, so I decided to help him out. And he basically just wanted me to destroy some totems. So I ran around the area, lighting up all these totems. And I also decided to finish off the bonus objective while I was here, and I reached level 43. And then I saw this weird kind of pool of fish, and remembered that I'd actually unlocked the fishing skill earlier. And then came the process of figuring out how to actually do the fishing, which wasn't too complicated, but for some reason it still took me a few attempts. But like everything else so far, I managed to figure it out and caught myself my first fish. And then I continued on, catching more and more fish until the pool ran dry. And then I finished my quest with this turtle and made my way back to finding Torga fucking turtle dude. And I found him, but he was a bit dead. And apparently it was the work of the blood trolls. And we needed to find out what happened, so we had to talk to Torga's soul. And to summon his soul, we had to summon, you guessed it, Bwomsamdi. But nothing is ever free with this guy, there's always a price. So I decided to go complete his objectives, which is just to burn these crab spider things, and also just claim some souls from the blood trolls. While I was here, I also smacked down the summoner Yaz. But as I killed her, it seems like she had time to release this big monster tentacle dude who goes by the name Jungo, who pulled me over and started talking smack once again, and he wanted me to follow some dude called Gahoon, but I said Gano, and then he kind of launched me across the map. But anyway, I finished claiming the souls for Bwomsamdi, and then collected my reward. I actually got a rare upgrade, and it's actually sick when this happens. With the deal made, it was now time to summon the spirit of Torga, who didn't say much except just to destroy the camps to weaken Jungo, and then he kind of just peaced out. So I got straight to it, and had to destroy these blood orbs. So, after destroying the final blood orb and completing the bonus objective, I reached level 44. And then I had to go find the scroll on the ground, which apparently this dude had it, but I could not find it anywhere. I had no idea where the scroll was, even though it was right in front of my fucking face. And I spent a while looking for this scroll. I don't know how I missed it. And then I just waited until some dude came along, and I'm like, surely he's gonna find the scroll, but he didn't. And then I ended up just finding it anyway, and I felt so stupid. I'm so blind. But anyway, continuing on, I found this ancient jawbreaker, and then got my jaw broken. Giving up on that idea, I reunited once again with the gang, and accepted the quest that would make use of the scroll that took me 40 million years to find. So I ran over to these big groups of monsters, and started to use the scroll where I was turned into a hand. But apparently, a very strong hand, because I absolutely obliterated everything. And I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty fun just running in and just mincing everything in sight. So I carried on pummeling these plebeians. And I guess the hand had decided that I had killed enough and just started like boosting back to the camp, where I handed in my quest. I'm sorry. And then I kept pushing through the other quests. And then I came upon this dinosaur who was like fighting the singular blood troll. And I don't really know what the hell was going on, but I started to attack the dinosaur as well. But then after attacking it a few times, it decided that it wanted to ignore the blood troll and start attacking me. So I absolutely booked it. And this dinosaur was pissed, but I managed to get away. So ignoring that, I decided just to carry on with my quest. But as I was running past to hand it in, I saw that the dinosaur was once again fighting this blood troll. So I decided to test my luck, and guess what? The exact same thing happened again. But then all of a sudden it started running away, so I decided to chase it, where it ran down this hill and returned to full health. Knowing there was no chance of me killing it now, I started to leave. But that's when I noticed that its health was suddenly going down. So I turned back around and saw that some other player was actually fighting it. So I decided to go in and help take down the stupid dinosaur. And the player killing it was such a high level that they had a skull instead of a level. But nevertheless, we defeated the dinosaur, and I took my epic loot. Afterwards, I returned back to Talanji and the others. I handed in my quest and accepted some new ones. And then handed those ones in too. And now it was finally time to fight Jungo. So off we went, making our way to old Jungo, when Talanji started doing the special beam cannon into him, and we initiated the battle and started smacking this tentacled dog. And after a short fight, we managed to kill him, and then he was gone. Afterwards, we decided to return back to the camp, where we could finally lay the spirit of young Torga to rest. But instead of laying his spirit to rest, he just turned into a tiny turtle. And afterwards, I had to go meet them at a different camp, where I accepted a new quest. But then I found this bounty for this snake monster, which suggested that I had 3 people, so I called in for backup, my friend Squirting. And together we started smacking down this stupid snake, but it turns out Gazania Dak is not much of a Gazania tank, and he died. But as I was running back to my corpse, it seemed that my friend Squirting had finished it off, and I collected the snake's head. And it turns out my friend Squirting also needed help with a bounty, and we needed to kill this Tazraka. So in preparation, I flew my way back to the Great Seal, where I returned back to this map on the table and selected Vol'dun, because that is where we'll find this Tazraka. So I carried on, taking another painful shortcut. And then all of a sudden I was ganked by this assassin, who charged towards me and was trying to kill me. But then the Zandalari troll guard ran up and absolutely just one-shot this rat. After that interesting encounter, I jumped on the Pterodax and we headed towards Vol'dun. After not too much time, the jungle of Zandalar turned into the sands of Vol'dun. But then all of a sudden, as I was flying, I was put into this cutscene where the snake dude charged up the spirit bomb and launched it at our birds. And while the first one missed, the second one didn't. We got smacked and started heading towards the ground. When I eventually came to, it seemed that I was trapped in a cage and this snake dude was about to kill me. And all of a sudden, the snake got smacked and this little rodent came over to the front of my cage. But then surprisingly, the rodent actually helped me and let me out of the cage. Teaming up with Rodent, we made our way through this prison camp area, where I may have bitten off a little more than I could chew and got smacked. But I managed to win the second time around. And then we made our way to the Rodent getaway vehicle, which initiated an epic chase scene, which I threw down this like firebomb and just burnt them to a crisp. After a small journey, we made our way to this rodent camp, where my reward for this quest was going to be the sword, but it actually wasn't as good as the one I already had. But I decided to accept it anyway, and that's when it got a rare upgrade And then when I compared the two, it turns out it was actually better than the one I had. Saying farewell to the rodents, I made my way through the desert, where the smacking did not cease. And my friend Squirting was taking a sweet ass time, so I decided to return to Nazmit, where I discovered the smoking missile thing in the ground, which made mention of some kind of Gob Squad, and I can only fucking guess what that means. But putting that thought aside, I carried on with the quests and reached level 47. It seemed that my friend Squirting was finally ready, and as I was flying back, I actually saw him in front of me. So upon landing, we were reunited. And now it was time to confront this Tazrucker the traitor, who obviously Squirting made me attack first. And following the usual theme of what happens, I got smacked. But when I respawned, I was literally right here. So in no time, I ran back, collected my stuff, and we smacked them down. But then it turns out Squirting needed help with another monster. So using his breathing magic on me, Squirting and I made our way to this island, where we were confronted by this Pirate King skeleton dude, who we absolutely smacked into oblivion. After that, Squirting and I parted ways, and I carried on. And carrying on with my quests, my objective marker eventually led me here, where I was encountered with the Gob Squad. And they of course wanted my help to find the other missing members of the Gob Squad. So obviously, I went to cancel the quest. But then I thought just maybe that's exactly what I was going to do. So I continued on, running into this area, where I found another star on the map, which turned out to be this big ass crab called Krubs. And this Krubs definitely did not want to share a secret formula, so he absolutely smacked me into the ground. But anyway, I decided to carry on, but then I thought, maybe I should go accept those quests. So I returned and accepted their rat quests, and then returned to Big Krubs the Crab and took my revenge. And then began the process of freeing these stupid ass rats. And then to complete my quest, I had to enter this rat house where I was completely surrounded. I felt like I was going to puke, so I accepted my quests and got the hell out of there. And then I made my way over here, and this has to be one of the coolest places I've seen so far in WoW. And that's when I met Big Frogman, who sent me on the intense quest of collecting glowflies. But anyway, I returned and I activated these frog totems, and then I had to go meet him by this river, because apparently we were gonna do some smacking. So I jumped on the back of this big frog, and we made our way into the camp of the blood trolls, where we proceeded to just body slam this entire camp of trolls. After that, I completed my quest and became the friend of the frogs. And then I was given another quest to free these frogs, and then I found this person who was trying to harness the power of frog, but it seemed that the power of frog was actually a bit shit. So I returned and finished that quest, which leveled me up to level 50. And I don't know, I feel like this is kind of a big achievement. And after that, I returned to Princess Talanji, where I informed her that we had the aid of Big Man Frog Lower on our side. And then I decided to check my mailbox, where I had this platinum ore. But then I found this interesting letter. And I don't know if you remember, but the dinosaurs a few episodes ago, they managed to have babies, and apparently I could have one of them as a pet. So of course this became my main objective. Nothing was gonna stop me getting this damn dinosaur. But when I returned to the Great Seal, I saw this dude who I hadn't actually noticed before, and reading through his quest, it actually seemed really interesting. And basically some big demon had stabbed the entire planet with a sword. So I accepted this epic quest, and who knew where this journey was going to take me, what kind of monsters we were going to fight. Well, we wouldn't find out because the dinosaur was more important. So I ended up making my way over to the stable master, who didn't seem to help. Then after a little while of searching, I managed to find the right person, but it turns out I have actually been scammed, because the little dinosaur I was offered, apparently I actually have to pay for, and I have to pay with a currency that I don't even have. My disappointment was immeasurable, and my day was ruined. And Gazza was so pissed, he didn't say a single word on the whole ride home. Moving on, I ended up finding this troll laying face down, but after using some kind of antidote, we managed to revive him from the brink of death. And then he offered me a quest, which was going to give me another weapon upgrade. So anyway, I got to work draining these blood orbs and killing all these battle krogs. And then I also had to retrieve the head of this war mother Nagla. Afterwards, I had to capture one of these baby kroglings, and to do that, I had to feed it the corpses of the blood trolls. Finishing that off, I completed the quests and claimed the new weapon. And once again, I leveled up to level 51. Afterwards, I returned to Big Frogman, and my reward was going to be keeping this guy. And I mean, he ain't no dinosaur, but I guess he'll have to do. And then began the all too familiar process of figuring out what the hell to actually do with him. Then I figured out I had to click him in my inventory, and then I figured out how to summon him. But apparently, I have to also go visit a battle pet trainer. So I made my way back to the Great Seal, where I went and asked the guard where I could find a battle pet trainer. But it seems like there was none in Zuldazar. So I decided to test my luck and make my way to Orgrimmar. So I talked to one of the guards here and found the option to locate a battle master. Arriving at the location marked on my map, I found this dude, who taught me in the ways of battle pet training, and I also unlocked this black king snake or something. And honestly, I was a little bit overwhelmed with all this information, and I didn't really know what I was meant to do. But I'm sure we'd figure that out another time.